Who was Jane Austen? Not while widely known in her own time, Jane Austen's comic novel of love among the landed gentry gained popularity after 1869, and her reputation skyrocketed in the 20th century. Her novels, including Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility, are considered literary classics, bridging the gap between romance and realism. Early life. Jane Austen was a great woman novelist of the early 19th century. Jane was born on 16 December 1775 in Steventon Rectory. She was the second daughter of the Reverend George Austen and his wife Cassandra. Apart from her older sister called Cassandra, Jane also had six brothers. 1783, Jane and her sister sent to boarding school. While at school, they both caught a fever, and Jane nearly died. Jane Austen left school in 1786. The great writer. Even as a child, Jane Austen loved writing and she wrote a lot of short stories called the Juvenilia. About 1795, she wrote a novel she called Eleanor and Marian. In the years 1796 to 1907, Jane Austen wrote another novel she called First Impressions. It was later published as Pride and Prejudice. Then in 1798 to 99, Jane wrote a novel named Susan. It was published posthumously as Northanger Abbey in 1817. 1801, Jane Austen moved with her sister and parents to Bath. Jane Austen was a tall, slim woman. In 1802, she received a proposal of marriage from a man named Harris Bake White. At first, Jane accepted, but she quickly changed her mind. Jane Austen never married. Her father, George Austen, died in 1805. 1807, Jane Austen moved to Southampton. She lived there until 1809. At that time, Southampton was a flourishing port and town with a population of over 8,000. However, in 1809, Jane Austen moved to the little village of Chewton in North Hampshire. Then, in 1811, Sense and Sensibility was published. Pride and Prejudice was published in 1813. Mansfield Park was published in 1814. Another book called Emma followed in 1816. Meanwhile, Jane Austen wrote Persuasion, but she died before it could be published. It was published posthumously in 1817. Jane Austen died on 18th July 1817. Jane was only 41 years old. She was buried in Winchester Cathedral. Famous quotes. If I loved you less, I might be able to talk about it more. My idea of good company is the company of clever, well-informed people who have a great deal of conversation. That is what I call good company. Let other pens dwell on guilt and misery. There is no charm equal to tenderness of heart. Happiness in marriage is entirely a matter of chance. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife.